I think my wife cheated on me, but I have no proof. 27 meters. Married less than a year. Both in our mid-20s. She gets concert tickets for Christmas. Naturally, I assume I am going with her. Nope. She wants to take someone from work because he is supposedly a huge fan of the band. She also tells me he's gay. I am upset, but I decide not to start a fight about it. She goes to the concert and they wait outside near the band bus after the show is over. The bassist from the band starts to talk to her, and she flirts with him. He asks if she is going to their New Year's Eve show, 200 miles away. She says no because she can't afford it. He said he'll comp her tickets if she comes. She says she won't go alone. He says she can bring her friend. Now our New Year's Eve plans are ruined, because there's no way I can go too. She had joked before about having to sleep with the bassist for these tickets and VIP access. I did not find it funny, so she played it off. In the end, this is her favorite band, and I don't want her holding this over my head for the rest of our lives, so I let her make the decision herself. She decides to go with her friend from work who she now says she's only 80% sure he's gay. WTF. She texts me on the long drive there. Then when she gets the tickets, then nothing. I text her at midnight. She gives me a 3-word response. I don't hear from her again. I call her at 11:30 the next morning, and she says she is waiting at the subway station to go back to her hotel. She eventually gets home around 4:30 p.m. I ask her how it went. She says they partied all night. She took prescription drugs and drank a lot. She said she was pissed she paid for a hotel when she only slept in it for 2 hours. I asked how that was possible when she was at the subway at 11:30 a.m. She admits that she didn't use the hotel room at all, and that she must have slept in the band suite. What? She blames her amnesia on a hangover. Fast forward a day or so. She gets out of the shower. I notice she shaved her pubes. I ask her when she did it. She says Friday. Here's the thing. My wife never shaves her pubes. When she does, it's a present for me. She left for work and I found a package of Summer's Eve feminine wipes in her overnight bag. Here's the other thing. I've always secretly thought she's had an odor problem, but she's certainly never done anything about it for me. This was a brand new pack. Why did she have them? So what do you think? Is she cheating with the bassist or the guy from work? Should I confront her about it? Too long didn't read. Wife goes to a concert with a guy from work on night. Stays up all night in band suite. Can't get her story straight. Abnormal attention to vaginal hygiene. Edit. Sorry, this is such a horrible read. I am literally shaking as I writing this since I don't know what to do. Edit 2. This is a ducked up situation for sure, but I should mention, there's a reason we got married. She and I share an affinity for so many things. From music to gaming to trees to other nerdy stuff. Some people might consider us a couple that spends too much time together. The ex-life has cooled off a bit, but neither of us has been left wanting. Not sure if any of this changes things. Edit 3. I think I should clarify that she got the concert tickets as a Christmas gift, but the concert was not on Christmas. The first concert was on December 30th. The second was December 31st. Edit 4. I am trying to avoid keywords that might lead her to this thread, so I won't name the band. It's not Nickelback and it's definitely not Fish. Edit 5. She'll be home soon. Wish me luck. Update. I sat her down last night for a talk. I asked her to walk me through the night so I could better understand the details. They had tickets waiting at Will Call, and were able to stand in the VIP section for the concert. The bar was open until about 2, at which point they were invited to the band suite. The hotel gave her free pajamas, so she wasn't wearing her dress when she went up there. It was a pretty large party, with the bassist, guitarist, cellist from the opening band, and the entire road crew. She said her friend from work was hovering around her all night, to the point of being annoying. She said she fell asleep on the floor of the living room, as did a dozen other people. Her co-worker woke her up around 11 and they went to the subway. I asked her why she shaved. She said she doesn't know. What if I ended up going swimming? She said, did you bring a bathing suit? I asked. No. Not to mention the fact that my wife can't swim. She'll drown in 6 feet of water with nothing to hold on to. We enjoy hot tubs, though I still wouldn't have been comfortable with her in a hot tub full of strangers. I asked her about the Summer's Eve cleansing cloths. She admitted they were for feminine odor, but said she bought them during our last Walmart shopping trip, which was the day after Christmas. If that's true, she couldn't have known she was sleeping out without me on night. She said she didn't even open them. When I checked the package again, I was positive it was unopened. I asked her to look me in the eyes and swear that there was no kissing, cuddling, or astral contact of any kind. She did so, repeating those exact words. I also told her how hurt I was about the whole situation. I told her that if she has tickets to something, and I want to go, she is obligated to take me no matter what. If she isn't ready to make that call, then she wasn't ready for marriage. She was very resistant and used a lot of hyperbole in the conversation. You always this, I never that. The most hurtful thing she said to me was that if I was able to go on night, she thinks she wouldn't have had as much fun. I told her that's a fundamental blow to our relationship that should call our marriage into question. She said I was being ridiculous. So I am pretty much right back where I started. Still not sure if she cheated. It's possible she lied. I have no way of knowing. She's acting pretty much normal at home. As if nothing happened. Still don't know what to do. I am going to leave this up for another day or so. Then take it down so she doesn't see it. Suggestions other than dump that lying cheating whore would be appreciated. Update 1. Last week, the bassist guy texted my wife and invited her to a concert in a city 100 miles away on a weeknight. She wanted to go by herself, and I brought up the events of New Year's Eve. She stopped talking to me and gave me the silent treatment for 3 days. I went on a business trip over the weekend and kept in touch with her every day. When I got back, we spent Valentine's Day together. Yesterday, I was on Reddit and saw that I had an orangerd. I clicked on it, only to realize that my wife was still signed in on my computer. She used her account for Gonewild, which I knew about and supported. But what I didn't expect is that she was sending photos to guys via PM. I continued reading. One guy asked, "What's the wildest thing you've ever done?" And there it was. She responded with, "On Nye I had my first threesome with a member of a famous 90s rock band and a friend. The first thing I did was speak to a lawyer about my options. Then I confronted her about it. And she said it was only half true. She said she embellished and that her friend really is gay and she and the bassist made out and did oral. That's when I left the apartment and headed straight for the hospital to get tested for STDs. I got back several hours later, not believing a word she said. I told her to text the guy simply, 'Did we have X?' And if he says no, I'll believe her." She then admitted they did have X. My whole life has been shattered. We were married for less than a year, and I invested my whole being into this 5-year relationship. I moved into the second bedroom and I am sleeping on a futon. Our lease goes until May. I just wanted to update Reddit, since I know people rarely do that. And thank you for being there for me before. I am in the South Jersey, Philly area and could use some love. Too long didn't read Reddit. You were right. Update 2. Our men. She had an affair with 4 different men over the past 5 months. The first was a guy from work she started Sing and sending racy pictures to back in October. Then she met a random guy at a concert and kissed him. She met up with him again when she was at a drive-in movie theater with a friend, where allegedly nothing happened except cuddling. She met up with him again when she was at a gay club with some friends, and he ducked her from behind in the bathroom. He drunk texted her a month later. They fought, and broke off contact after that. One night in mid-December I came home from work at 6 p.m., knowing that she got done at 2 p.m. for a company Christmas party. Her pet, Bunny, was out of its cage and running around the apartment. She was nowhere to be found. Her car was in the parking lot. Her coat was on a chair. I called her phone and it rang from the couch. I called my mom in a panic. I ran around the apartment complex looking for her. I screamed her name. I even checked the goddamn dumpsters, expecting the worst. When she came home, an hour and a half later, the police were in my living room, and I was giving them her description. I held her so tightly. I was so scared that something had happened to her. I was in tears. A minute earlier, she was making out with the guy from work, in his car, down the street, with her hand on his dick. If she wasn't on her period, she would have had X with him. Then Therese, New Year's Eve. The bassist guy likes it up the ass. When my wife and her gay friend went up to his hotel room, he asked him to duck him up the ass. He did, with my wife in the room. And then the guy told him to get lost. He then had unprotected X with her, with possible vaginal insemination. She took the morning after pill, and had a pregnancy scare when she was late for her period. They continued to chat via text, email, video chat after that. Finally, she had an emotional affair with a guy she met on Reddit. They flirted via text and email, and made plans to meet in person and have X while I was on a business trip last weekend. A friend of mine asked her if she wanted to do LSD together, and she found that to be the better option. As far as I know, she never met the guy. She continued to flirt and chat with 3 of the 4 men up until last Wednesday when I found out. I only found out about the other 2 yesterday, after I invaded her privacy and found tons of emails and chats with and about these men. I forwarded those emails to myself. I even have the t-shirt that my wife slept in that belonged to the bassist. She actually brought it into our home. I know this doesn't count as verification, but here is a photo of the t-shirt, and of my hospital bracelet from when I got screened for STDs. I could never hurt or kill myself. But believe me when I say I wish I was dead. I wouldn't wish this pain on someone I hate. I am weak. I am exhausted. I can't eat or sleep. I miss her so bad, but I am repulsed by her at the same time. I told her not to even be in the same room as me until she gets tested for STDs. I told her to email her entire family and tell them everything she did. She has a very tight family and this will likely shame her for life. I told her she needs to cut all ties with everyone and burn every bridge, including with the 2 friends she had that enabled her, if she ever wants to speak to me again. And even then, it's very likely that there's nothing to save. I feel so alone. I have friends that I've been relying on, but I can't tell if they are being supportive because they want to be and they like to have me around, or if they are simply not a holes. My confidence and self-esteem is shot. I am doomed to be alone no matter what I do. I was already physically neglected. I am in no condition for a new relationship. And there is no way I could be intimate with this woman again. Everything I had was just ripped away. I need some cheering up. Again. South Jersey, Philly area. Thanks again for the kind words I've been receiving. Edit, she had X with the guy from work. I am ducking done. It's over. I didn't make her write any letters or tell anyone. She can rot for all I care. I am free from this bullshit. Anyone for a beer? Update 3. It has been a while, but to this day I have been getting requests to do an update. So here it is. Original posts here. The past 7 months have had a lot of ups and downs. I am in a much better place than I used to be, but still on the road to recovery. I go to therapy 3 times a month. I started running and working out frequently. I dropped from 245 pounds in February to 205 pounds this morning. I feel so much more in shape, and for the first time since high school I feel good about my body. The change has caused me to have to buy all new clothes. So I am slowly updating my wardrobe and dressing and subsequently feeling better. I have a large pool of friends now. The friends that I spent New Year's Eve with hang out every Tuesday for trivia. And we went to the beach a few times this spring and summer. I practice with my band 3 times a week now. And our album was just released for free online. We hang out several times a week. My best friend right now is a girl I met on Reddit. Unrelated to these posts. We text every day and hang out every other night. And if one of us absent for more than 2 days, we miss each other a lot. I took a trip to Puerto Rico with my mom and my aunt back in May. And it was a life-changing experience. No sightseeing or touristing. My mom grew up there and we were visiting family. I got to experience the real culture and my heritage. I currently live in a predominantly white suburb. When I came back I was much more calm and finally had a positive outlook on life. As for my ex, the easiest, cheapest, and most painless way for us to divorce is on irreconcilable differences. For my state, that requires 18 months of living in separate residences while not having sex with each other. No problem there. 6 months down. 12 to go. I look forward to the day she no longer disgraces my last name. There is so much she is still lying to me about and so much I will never know the truth about. For a while we talked about spending time apart, and after a while see if there was something there to save. She called me to meet with her a few months later, and after a long and deceitful amount of small talk she told me she had given up. She no longer wanted me back. She had quit therapy. And I know for a fact she is currently dating one of the guys she cheated on me with. To be honest, good for her. She will either wake up one day and realize how much better her life could have been with me, or she'll have a better life with this guy. Either way, I never would have wanted to hold her back from a higher state of happiness. In the meantime, I never want to see her again. Outside of a courtroom. To cope with my deflated ego, I went through a period of sexual promiscuity. I picked up some self-help books, hit up our seduction, and took my new body to college parties. I went on dates with old friends I hadn't seen in 5 years. I slept around with girls as old as 30 and as young as 18. To be perfectly honest, none of that made me feel any better. I thought that I wanted to feel young again, and so my wild oats. But the truth is I just wanted to be loved. So I am actually dating someone right now. We connect deeply on a mental and physical level, and being with her makes me feel like I can love again. She lives an hour away, which I find to be a good thing, because it keeps this from turning into a codependent relationship. I retain my independence, while still having someone who cares for me and goes out with me a few times a week. Will it last? Don't know. Don't care. Living in the moment has been one of my coping mechanisms this year, so long as I live responsibly. When I am with her, I am happy, and that's all I care about. So this is getting long, but I wanted to thank all of the supportive commenters on Reddit. Many of you offered good advice that I took to heart, and some of you even reached out to me on Facebook. I may have been slightly jaded at the time, but the show of compassion and empathy from strangers has been truly heartwarming. I like the new me, and I hope to be better for the experience. I've only barely brushed the surface with this post, so feel free to ask me anything. Too long didn't read. Lost 40 pounds. Moved. Slept around. Currently in a new relationship. Wife took the easy way out and gave up on life. It may mean nothing to you, but I still have a burning passionate hate for that band, and every time their stupid ass shit lingers on any media, you had imprinted an image in my head that will never cease to exist. I know we should take the high road and not bash the bassist, but man, I have not forgotten this story, nor will I anytime soon. Glad to hear you are doing better. Yeah, according to Wikipedia that guy is no longer touring with the band. He's listed as a former touring member, meaning he never even recorded with them. There's nothing wrong with that band's music in general, although I still can't listen to it. That's how I know I am not completely healed. I just read all of the previous threads you posted. Dude, that sounded like such a shit position to be in. I am sorry to hear your marriage didn't work out, but I am glad to hear you're getting your life together again. Hold in there, mate. I am always available to talk if you ever need it. Second story. My F27 boyfriend M32 doesn't believe that I got sexually assaulted and thinks I cheated on him. This is a throwaway account. I am not good at English, so sorry if I make mistakes. I am going to try my best to explain this situation. I had gone to one of my guy friend's house. I am going to call him Jake. I have known Jake for a year and he's always been nice. I was at Jake's house a week ago because me and my friends were having a party at his house. My boyfriend had asked me to be home at 9 p.m. and I stayed at the party for probably 2 hours. I left my phone's charger at Jake's house and didn't realize it until I got home. Jake kept asking me to pick up my charger from his house and I kept telling him later because I was really busy. 2 days ago I had to go to my mom's house and Jake's house is near to my mom's house. I thought of picking up my charger after I had visited my mom and then going back home. I went to Jake's house and he told me he didn't know where my charger was even though he kept telling me to pick it up from his house. He invited me inside his house and asked me to look for the charger. I was looking for the charger and Jake started talking about how he had a good time with me in the party. He told me I should attend my parties because I am fun. My boyfriend kept calling me and I just wanted to leave soon. All of a sudden, Jake tried to kiss me. I pushed him off and tried to leave, but he again tried to kiss me. I tried to run out of the house, but I kept freezing up and shaking. I've been sexually assaulted before when I was young and I would just freeze up. I had to be at his house for another 5 minutes because my legs were numb and every time I tried to get up, I was falling to the ground. Fortunately, Jake kept apologizing and didn't do anything more. I took a cab and left to my house because I couldn't drive as my hands and feet kept getting numb. I told my boyfriend everything and he didn't believe me. He told me that I cheated on him because I stayed at Jake's house for another 5 minutes and didn't leave. I don't have an excuse. I shouldn't have gone to get my charger and should have just left it. I tried my best to do everything to not disassociate and get numb. My boyfriend isn't trusting me and called me names for cheating on him. He kicked me out of his house and told my friends about how I cheated. I am at my mom's house right now and my mom told me that I should break up with him and go live with my grandparents for some time. I don't know what to do right now. I really didn't cheat and I don't want to be called a cheater. Edit. After reading all the replies, I came to the decision to break up with my boyfriend. He didn't take it well and drove to where I live and tried to hit me for breaking up with him. Thankfully my dad was at home and I was safe. I've decided to leave to my grandparents' house and be there for a long time. Third story. Confused. Need to vent. Looking for advice. Suspect wife is cheating. P.S. Yes, she is. This might be long. To begin, bedroom has been dead since our last daughter was born 4 years ago. I used to try and initiate X, but my wife continually had excuses. It was a trying time for us when our youngest daughter was born, as our oldest daughter got sick and made a full recovery thankfully and was hospitalized for nearly a month soon after the birth. I know this was hard on my wife as we had to visit a few hospitals and larger centers for care. We live in Northern Ontario. It was hard on me too, but I made sure to be the rock for our family. My wife started gaining weight after that, and eventually went on antidepressants. She came off them a little bit later on my advice, when I recommended that she join a weight loss center in a gym and do some things naturally to make herself feel better. I've always been supportive of her. After 2 years of very little X, I found myself not even trying to initiate anymore, and that seemed to be okay with my wife. She always found a reason to not feel well, or to go to bed early, or to stay with the kids in their room when they woke in the middle of the night as they needed her. I talked to her about that not being good for the kids or our marriage, but it fell on deaf ears. Then I just quit coming to bed, finding things to do late at night and adult videos. We've maybe had X 6 times in the last 3 years. Our lives got busier, and we barely spoke to each other at all other than being with the kids. We've always been very family oriented. We keep our kids busy and she really is a great mom. Anyway, she has lost quite a bit of weight and I could tell she was feeling better about herself. It was around that time last year she started going on weekend trips with her girlfriends to Michigan. We live on a border town. I've always supported her in this, knowing that she needed some time to herself too, as she has been supportive of my activities. In the last month, they've been to Michigan twice. This weekend is a holiday weekend coming up and I was looking forward to finally spending some time with my wife as we had nothing planned for a change. On Monday she tells me they are planning another trip to Michigan to celebrate one of her friends' birthdays. All of a sudden my spider sense starts to tingle. Her suitcase hasn't even been unpacked yet since her first trip in April, and my curiosity got the best of me and I looked through it yesterday. I was surprised to find lingerie, frilly panties and very SI tops, things she never wears for me. Then I went through her drawers. I knew it was wrong, but this didn't sit well with me. In her top drawer at the bottom I found some American cash she had stashed away. This was surprising too, as we have never hid money from each other as far as I knew. I counted the money, nearly $700, and a phone number on a piece of paper that wasn't her handwriting. It was a mid-Michigan area code and Google tells me it's a cell phone number. I started to tremble, but I wrote the number down and put the piece of paper back in her drawer. I Skyped the number so it would show up as unknown number. And of course a man picks up. I tell him it's a wrong number. Now things start to fall into place. Of the time she has spent texting on her phone in the last 2 weeks, something she rarely does, quickly putting it away when I walk into the room. One time last week I came to bed, and she got up, went to the washroom for a bit and then went to sleep in the kids' room with her phone. So last night I tried to make excuses to see her phone at the kids' baseball practice. I knew she had it with her, but she quickly told me she forgot it at home. Then I tell her when we get home I wanted to update the OS of our phones and she finally gives in. Again, I shouldn't have, but I went through her text history quickly when she wasn't around and it was blank, nothing there. This is a person that usually had 500 emails and texts saved on her phone because she doesn't clear her inboxes. I sent a text to the number just asking if he was there and didn't get a response back. When I came back upstairs, she asked me if something was wrong. I told her I was upset about her going away again to Michigan. I wasn't ready to tip my hand about what I knew yet. I asked her if everything was okay with us. Ironically, we had a long talk. I never brought up what I knew about the lingerie or the phone number as I'm confused and want to keep the upper hand in this. It was the best talk we had in a long time and she told me how much she misses me and that we don't spend enough time together and that we need more us time. She even asked me to go to bed to have X. I stupidly did and it was the best X we've had in a long time. I was angry and part of me was thinking that I'm going to get some at least in case I'm kicking out the door next week. I think she beginning to suspects that I may be onto her. So, this morning, getting ready to go to work, I took that number out of her drawer again and wrote I know about this and I love you on it. Really, I don't know what to do next. Lingerie, a phone number, hidden money and trips out of town don't prove anything, but things certainly don't look good for her. I don't know if she's already cheated on me, or if she's about to cheat on me and there's still time to stop this. My goal is to stay calm, and work this out logically, but my stomach is in butterflies. I would never have thought this could happen to us. People tell me all the time what a great couple we are. She always been a great mother, and this is totally out of character for her. I don't know if I just need to vent, or if I'm looking for advice, but thanks for listening. Update. People had asked me to provide an update from my post a few days ago. It's awful. And it was true. She finally confessed to some stuff but I still don't know if I go the whole story. But basically her and her friends were all going on these girls' weekends and they were all unfaithful. Also, more trips were planned in the future. Oddly, I feel like I can finally begin some healing now that she has at least fessed up to what she has done. I am just going to take some time for myself over the next few days and try to figure some stuff out. I am not sure if divorce is where we're headed. But the first step is going to be establishing a post-nuptial agreement. Of course she wants to try and work it out. And honestly I like that too. But I can't tell her that right now. I don't want to make any rash decisions. I am having a beer with one of the other hubbies at 3 and I am sure the girls won't like this. But I am going to let him know the details that my wife told me last night about his wife. Anyway, thanks for all the great advice. You were very helpful. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.